Welcome back to the One Ocean Project. It's Marine Tech Mike, and we are not at the Marine Tech Center. Crazy. We put the boat in the water, and so we're down here. This week we're just doing a mountain of projects. We got about 2 months before we leave, and we've got to hook up a water maker. We've got to finish all of the science and education, electrical, that whole separate lithium battery bank. And we've got to, well, the main mast is missing. We're going to put that on. You know, electronics and testing and still stuff with the heads and holding tanks and lots of testing and installations. But it's going fabulous. And so we're at Cap Sandy Marina. We're like a half a block from school. The Marine Tech School is that building with the orange right behind me, a half a block away. We're running out our dinghy. We're doing stuff like that. This week, though, I'm going to put in some video that we did a month ago about the whole exhaust system. This boat's going to be in some extreme conditions. The exhaust system was kind of patched up and worked, but not very well. And so we'll go into the boat and talk about how we re-engineered the system. And then after that, I'll keep filming and show you all of the projects as we get this boat wrapped up and ready to go. We got to add our solar cells yet. We got to add our hydro generator. We are going to be working 7 days a week, long days, with volunteers, with the boat owners, with our students, and we totally believe that this thing is going to be ready to go on May 3rd. So let's go check out the exhaust system. Welcome back to One Ocean, this custom Bob Perry 48 that we are taking around the Americas, all about education, of course. We're getting ready to go in May. Before we put the engine in, though, we've been doing a lot of work and engineering on the exhaust system. They also have just replaced all of the cockpit drains because they are below waterline. They go out a couple of through hulls in front of this bulkhead, and everything below waterline looked pretty sketchy. So that's all new. But the exhaust is really interesting. The exhaust mixer elbow, the way it was right here, went into this water lift muffler, and then it had this giant 3.5-inch loop. And I mean, it really lifted about almost 4 feet from the mixer elbow. And what we surmise, because it's set up, it has this do not adjust exhaust water bypass. And what happens is, I think because they're lifting this so high, they were overloading and getting back pressure on the engine. And so that's not really good. And so what we've done is, and I don't have it yet, but I'll get some footage when it comes in, we've designed out of just PVC pipe a 3-foot riser for the exhaust elbow, which will be dry exhaust. And so it'll have a vibrating thing, it'll be bolted to the bulkhead, and then we're going to inject the water up here with the mixer elbow and let gravity do it, and that way the highest point is up here in the top of the engine room, and we can never get water back up and into our engine. This system here really worries me when you shut down about all the water that can potentially backflood into the engine. So they also had this giant loop, because 3.5-inch wet exhaust hose is really a booger to work with. And so what we've done is I took 5 feet of straight pipe and chopped it up. These are available. Okay, we needed to modify that exhaust, and the best way to do it was to get rid of that big loop. And so we bought 5 feet of just 3.5-inch tube. These parts are available, but it's too skinny, so we had to go custom. And so 5 feet of tube made enough for this lower piece at about a 60 degree, and this one to make a 90. So we're gonna mix up some resin, let this set, flip it over, let it set, and then we'll just blast the heck and paint this thing. The exhaust is going to be so much better with this new system. So we just built these up in the shop, painted them last night at 10 p.m. And this is going to go in here and come up and down and then out the back of the boat. And that way our mixer elbow, which will be right up here, is higher than this loop, and that will be a more acceptable amount of back pressure for sure. When you inject the water way up here, it's a much better system. And then we also built for the bottom part here, when we come off from this right right here, this is going to be against the bulkhead, of course. Getting down and hooking to this piece of pipe here, not the easiest. So we've got another custom little 60-degree bend that we built, and that'll go right in here. So short piece of pipe. So we're going to cut this up today and put it together, make it better. Then once the engine's in, we'll get that new riser up. And I think we have an exhaust system which will take heavy seas, big following seas. It'll get rid of back pressure. It'll be a much better exhaust system. We're trying to design the whole thing around another being able to do another 8,000 hours on this engine system. So we'll be back in a minute. Show you how this thing comes together. So yesterday, right before the engine came in, we didn't want to put the engine in while we could still stand right here. Got rid of that giant loop and these new fiberglass pieces that we built. I mean, this exhaust system is so much better now, cleaner, simpler. It's gonna work really great. So that was a fantastic project we got done for sure. Very nice upgrade, quality stuff, and it's going to serve this boat for many, many years. Okay, now that we have the boat back in the water and the exhaust is working good, let me try and we'll finish up with this exhaust system and how it ended up being. Don't mind this little wood part here. Slight little problem with the transmission, so we had to pull it out 2 days ago. But let me try and explain again. So with the old system, there was so much back pressure and so much water going in with that giant loop that at idle it would just clog up the system. And so their solution to fixing that was obviously to put in that diverter valve where they just put a T in the saltwater system right where it injects into the exhaust elbow, and they just opened up they adjusted a gate valve and just relieved pressure water out the side of the boat. And this boat's going to be in some extreme conditions, and we just were not comfortable with that. So with this new system now, we had National Marine Exhaust down in Marysville build us. We did a mock-up out of PVC pipe, set it down there, and essentially we said we want to just take the exhaust elbow and move it vertically about 4 feet. So they made they took the elbow and they went up and they dog-legged it, and when it goes up, it has a vibrating section because the exhaust is now rigid like they do on a commercial boat with a dry stack. So they went straight up, vibrating section, kicked it over, put a 90 on it. They used the exact same flange so that our new exhaust elbow from HDI Marine, they make awesome Myanmar exhaust elbows and other parts for marine exhaust. Put that on. It is then bolted onto the wall and supported with these hangers, which are spring tension to make sure that we don't have any weight coming down on any of that system. And so it works perfectly. Now we have the exhaust elbow a foot above the highest point in the exhaust system, so it comes down with gravity. And then it still goes into that water lift muffler, but it comes up with a short loop and then runs out the back of the boat. So we don't need the bypass. We know for sure we're not going to be getting seawater back up into even in a following sea. There's no way that it can get back into our refreshed little Yanmar here. So we think this is a far better system, and that's what we do at Marine Tech. We teach about this stuff and we problem solve, and so it turned out really, really nice. And so thanks for watching. Leave a like, a comment, whatever. We will get back to all the other projects that are happening on the boat in the next couple of weeks as we get ready to take off and sail this boat around the Americas.
Welcome to the Scallywags, located in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, where Skagit Valley College has been training technicians since 1968. If you are looking for industry certification and the skills to work in maritime, this is the place to visit. Our staff will share so much knowledge and experience, you will not be disappointed. The workforce demand is very high, and all of our graduates are working around the world. If this sounds interesting to you, schedule a tour and come check us out.